Kawasaki, you guys really screwed up on this one. Cue the intro. And what I mean by that is, why does no one know about this bike? This is honestly one of my favorite motorcycles to ride, and no one's pretty much ever heard of a Kawasaki Versys, even though you've been making it since like the mid-2000s. This is the 2013 Kawasaki Versys 650, and it is a really, really fun bike to ride. Now, you'll notice this bike shares a lot of features with the Kawasaki 650 Ninja. It shares the motor, and you got the same shock. It might even share the frame a little bit. The thing just sits up a lot taller. It also, in the later versions, it shares the engine with the Kawasaki Vulcan 650S, which is also one of my favorite bikes. And so what Kawasaki is doing is they're putting the same basic power plant in these three different bikes, but then changing the gears a little bit for different people, and then changing the ride height and just changing the general bike so you can use the same motor for different applications, which I think is a genius idea because that makes the bikes cheaper because you're not redesigning a whole new engine for three different bikes. So the big question is, what is this bike really? It's not a super sport, it's not a naked street fighter bike, it's not a cruiser bike, like what actually is it? It's not really an adventure bike. This is how I would describe this bike. It's an adventure bike, but your adventures are not taking you off the road. And the reason it's an adventure bike, and the reason I say that, is because these are not adventure bike tires. There's no skid plate on here. I'm not sure if you can even put a skid plate on here. And hey, let's just be honest. We all have big dreams and aspirations of doing these awesome big adventure rides and going to Africa and doing the Trans-American Trail and stuff like that. But it doesn't really happen. It's like when you and your four buddies decide that we're all gonna get adventure bikes and do all these awesome things on the weekend, and then your buddy Steve comes home with a freaking Ducati, Panigale, and then your buddy Dave comes home with an Ultra Classic, and you look like an idiot riding with these guys because they're completely different types of bikes, and then you end up buying this. So you're not doing the adventure ride, let's just all be honest, but this is an awesome bike for when it comes to riding on the street because it's comfortable, it's fun. I mean, the ergonomics are almost perfect. It's got like a 5.5 gallon fuel tank with a range of like 240 miles. It's got dirt bike handlebars, so you're sitting upright. The way it corners and performs, it really is an amazing motorcycle. So what this bike is that goofy kid. It's that goofy kid that you're like, the guy looks kind of goofy. I don't really want to, hang out with him. Then through a series of events, you end up hanging out with them, and then you realize, holy cow, this kid is fun. This kid's awesome. He's got cool stuff. He says fun things. He's just a blast to be around. And then before you know it, he's your best friend. That's what this bike is. Now let's go over some of the key features about this bike that are very important. Right here is the start button. This thing makes all your life problems go away. Right here is your gas cap. You open up here, that's where you put your paycheck, right down there. These are your wheels. The faster they move, the happier you become. And this is the passenger seat. This is where you will put the girl who you will eventually marry. She will spend all your money and she'll give you babies. This is what this bike's all about. When all's said and done, you just gotta ride it and see for yourself. Let's go for a test drive. All right, guys, for the test drive, to the words of wisdom, Proverbs. Let's do 18:2. A fool does not delight in understanding, but only in revealing his own mind. When the wicked man comes, contempt also comes, and with dishonor comes scorn. There's a saying that goes like this, and I'm so bad at like re-saying sayings because I mess them up. But it's something along the lines of keep your mouth shut so people might think you're stupid, or open your mouth and prove to them that you're stupid. For someone who has to talk all the time, I kind of screw that one up all the time. But every once in a while, I take heart. Hey guys, real quick, this is Sean from the future, going back into the past. I'm inserting this spot in the video in the past. We just did a, I just spent like 2 days working on this questionnaire because I realized that you guys know more about us than we know about you. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's not fair for you guys. You know what I mean? We should know more about you. I'm excited. I want to know more about you. I want to know who you are, and I want to know what you like, what makes you tick, and what motivates you. And you know, I want to know more about you guys. So we made this really fun questionnaire. It takes about 3 minutes to do. Click on the link below the video. Sign it in. It also gives you an opportunity to say whatever you want us to say. We'll definitely read those. We don't always get a chance to read all the comments. I read a lot of the comments, but we'll read all the comments in this, and it'll give you an opportunity to say, hey, this is who I am, Sean. There you go. So it would really mean a lot to us. We would really appreciate it. And just out of thanks and gratitude, I'm gonna bust a wheelie. Yeah, it's kind of a bad wheelie, but whatever. All right, guys, back to the video. So this really is, and guys, I fall in love with every bike I ride, right? But there's something about this bike that when I first rode one of these a while ago, I was like, man, like an 07. Not in 07, 2 years ago, but it was an 07. I thought, that bike is dumb looking. That's a dumb looking bike, and it's gonna be I thought it was more like an entry-level bike that no one buys unless you're a new rider. Just thought that was just a cheap bike. And then I rode it. And then I rode it some more. And then I kept on riding it because I was just really enjoying it. It was a lot of fun to ride. And occasionally that happens. Occasionally you find a bike where you're like, wow, this thing is awesome. Why did no one tell me about this? Why was this not an option in the 2 bikes that I can buy? One's a Harley Davidson and one's a CBR 600S RR. You know what I mean? Why out of those 2 bikes, no one told me about a Kawasaki Versys that sits up like an adventure bike. Very comfortable. Listen, I'm no young man. It depends on who you are. I'm 33 years old. I'm an old man. And I like riding sport bikes. I'm a sport bike guy. I like riding sport bikes. I like riding everything though. But there's nothing more comfortable than this seating position right here. Ooh, we do have one bike that might beat it. I'm gonna do a test drive of that one probably tomorrow. But it's similar. But this bike is great. Now this has a parallel twin power plant. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know I've been falling in love with the parallel twin. One of my other favorite bikes, the Yamaha FC7, also parallel twin. There's something about that power band, and it's very usable. It's very usable in street and highway riding, and it's just so perfect. I don't know why. The way in these, mainly just these lower gears, I can pull wheelies really easily. I guess that's all it is. I guess I'm that simple. It accelerates very fast. It's not like crazy insane where it's trying to like pull wheelies just by accelerating. But if you know what you're doing and you can give it a little bit of clutch and give it a little bit of throttle and stuff like that, you can make it do pretty much whatever you want it to do. A beautiful day outside. This bike was made for beautiful days like this. Now this bike has a windscreen. I don't think it's doing anything. Maybe it's stopping a little bit of wind from hitting my chest. What I'm not getting, it's not stopping any wind from hitting my face, which I like wind hitting my face. That's why I ride motorcycle. Now there's tons of things. I'll just admit, the same things that everyone's gonna complain about these bikes, they're gonna complain about any inexpensive non-super sport bike. They're like, well, the suspension, blah blah blah, and it's not as tunable and adjustable, and that's any bike. That's why you're spending like $9 grand brand new. Used, it's like less than 5. I don't know what it's listed for. Somewhere around 5 or something like that. Compared to paying $15,000. For most people, what they want to do with this bike is just set up to be perfect. Just try them brakes. It's just set up to be great. You're not wasting money on things you're not going to need or capabilities that you are beyond you. And you don't need a $3,000 front suspension for a bike like this. You're not doing that type of riding. Like, that's not what it's for. But for the type of riding most people are doing, this thing is perfect, and it's just a tons of fun. If motorcycling is not about fun, cars are about transportation. But you know, there are cars that are fun. You can't get, I have some fun cars. You can get some cars for fun. In a way, they kind of like replace motorcycles. Not replace, but like, you know, and substitute. But ultimately, motorcycles are about fun. You ride something that's fun, that brings you joy, that just makes you happy, that you jump on. You're like, I love riding this bike. Everything about it just brings joy to my life. All right, let's do this. Let's do this 0 to 60. I think it's gonna be a pretty good 0 to 60. Hopefully a lot better than my last 0 to 60 debacle. All right. Now, got it. I got it. Gotta pass this guy. And now we finally got up to the speed limit of 65 miles an hour. All right. All right, so let's do highway ride. How does it feel on the highway? It feels great. It feels good. I will say this bike does feel more stable than the FC07 at the much faster speeds. This thing feels great on the highway. If you're riding in like the Florida or Georgia area, then what you're gonna see is, you know, higher speeds, higher highway speeds, 75 and stuff like that, where everyone's cruising 85. This feels great. You can see I'm in top gear, I'm in 6th gear. I'm going at the speed limit, and I'm not even at 6,000 RPM, and the red line's at 10.5. So we got plenty of room. Like I said before, just the ergonomics of it is just very comfortable. This is comfortable. I'm not holding on to the bars like for dear life. You know, I can kind of hug the bike with my legs. And then once you hit those windy and twisty roads, man, this thing would be so much fun to take off-road. All right, guys, so I'm really enjoying this bike. This thing is awesome. I don't know what we're selling it for, but it's priced well. Trust me, it's priced well. We price all of our bikes well. Don't forget to check out Srkcycles.com. And remember, it is not what you are riding. It's where you're going. It's your location. It's who you are and where you're going. And where you're going shows a lot about who you are. We'll see you guys later. Hey guys, and don't forget to fill out that questionnaire at the end of the video. Just click on the description and you'll see it. It's the first thing. It's the only clickable link that you probably see right there at the top.